Alright, welcome back, you guys. This is part 2 of my October gig logs. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll leave a link up here that way you guys can go ahead and check it out. So my month did continue on Wednesday the 18th with a small reception at Vegas weddings. Alright, so I was able to record some footage, but it's not the best quality video since I did record it from a Generation 6 iPad. But it was a quick reception where we had formalities, dinner, and some socializing. Our couple didn't dance at all, but they took that time to socialize with their friends and family. We continue with the garden, which I unfortunately didn't get any footage of, but there wasn't much you guys missed out on. It was honestly a slow night, so it did end early, so there was no drag shows for this day, which I was kind of glad since I did have a rehearsal the next morning on the 20th for my wedding on the 21st. Then in the evening, I was back at the garden for those Pop Star Fridays. And here, I did fail. I did forget to record footage of both the night and the drag show. But I was there from 9 p.m. until closing, which was about 2 a.m. All right, we then continue to Saturday the 21st. I had that wedding at Wedgwood. They had an unplugged ceremony, cocktail hour, and then dinner. We moved into formalities after dinner, where the bride's dad had a surprise for her. It was a mob dance that the family had rehearsed and prepared to be played right after the father-daughter dance. So I honestly didn't even know until the day of, since the bride and groom had no idea about it. They didn't tell me anything about this at rehearsal. But it was awesome and they were both surprised. So they asked for a lot of pop and country to be played, so I mainly kind of stuck with that, with some more popular and poppy hip-hop songs sprinkled here and there. Alright, so things were starting to wind down for me as far as the gigs went. I had a good 3 days off, so I was able to rest and do a lot of home chores that I had to get done. I was back at Vegas weddings on Wednesday the 25th with a 20-year wedding anniversary. They didn't have too many formalities since it was an anniversary celebration, but they did have a first dance, toast, and cake cutting. It seemed like they were mostly here to party since they were very anxious to get through the formalities quickly and get the party started. Which, as you can see, they for sure did. They had a little bit of everything in their playlist, but mostly stuck with some Spanish, 2010s pop, and hip-hop. The next day, I was back at Vegas weddings, but this time it was for a wedding. They had a grand entrance, first dance, blessing, toast, cake cutting, father-daughter dance, and mother-son dance.
He's going to always be there for you. And I know that through 32 years of knowing.
They did request for me to play some funk, current hits, and hip-hop. But they mostly left it up for me to kind of feel it out and play for the crowd. And they were definitely a fun bunch. After this wedding, I ran some errands, and then I headed over to the garden for Latin nights, which was the start of the Halloween weekend. So I opened up the night at 9 p.m. with some housey vibes, since that's what was being played before I got there. And then I slowly transitioned out with some Latin house, and then fully into that Latin. There was a drag show that started at about like 11:30 p.m. and then ended around midnight. And then I just continued playing and did last call at 12:45 and ended up around 1 a.m. Alright, so the next day I was back at the garden for those Pop Fridays, but this time we were in full-fledged Halloween vibes. The garden is in the Arts District in downtown, and people are for sure out celebrating Halloween. There are some peeps already in the club when I started at 9 p.m. and just got busier and busier as the night progressed. There was 2 shows on this day, with the first one starting at about 11 p.m. There was an incident that happened where my computer just froze and stopped the music during the first performer's show. The performer, Salem Knight, was really professional and grabbed the mic to transition into the next performer. I had to close down Serato, turn off the Pioneer controller, and then restart both of them. To this day, I still have no idea what exactly happened, but the second performer continued, and then I opened up the dance floor back up. The second show started a little after midnight with no problems at all, and then they had a costume contest afterwards. So at the end, I pretty much opened up the dance floor back up around 12:30 a.m. I was dressed up as Marshmallow with the mask and everything, but I had to take it off most of the night. It was hard to see both my laptop and the controller, especially since they went with that darker lighting inside the club. It was hard for me to see. So I ended the night around 2 a.m. My girl was out downtown, so I decided to join her for the rest of the night before heading home and getting some rest. Then I woke up the next day for a wedding at Vegas Weddings, which had a start time of 2 p.m. Alright, so this lovely couple had a grand entrance, first dance, a few toasts, cake cutting, and a bouquet toss.
One of my favorite playlists.
They did give me a pretty decent sized playlist with some bangers, which I did incorporate into my set after I opened up the dance floor, but it looks like they mostly seem to vibe and chat to the music. I did play the bride's favorite song, Bodak Yellow by Cardi B, which she danced a little bit with her maid of honor, but that was pretty much it for dancing for this reception. Alright, so after this reception, I did stick around since I did have another wedding afterwards at the same venue, which was going to be my last gig of October. I had all of my music already ready for it, so I just had to relax as the staff flipped the room for the next wedding. They did have a little bit of more formalities than the last couple, with father-daughter dance, mother-son, money dance, garter removal, and a bouquet toss. They started taking pictures with their family when I opened up the dance floor, but afterwards they started to party. They wanted a mixture of Latin, classic rock, punk rock, some 90s hip hop, some 90s pop, and even ended with La Chona. They had a last dance, which the couple enjoyed by themselves on the dance floor. And that was the last song of my October events. It might not seem like a lot, but it does take a lot of energy and a toll on you when you have to perform with so much energy and be enthusiastic the whole night. Another thing you might not know is that it does take a lot of preparation for these events. I want to ensure that I have the correct versions of their songs, all of the formalities for both ceremony and the reception. I also ensure I have all the clean versions of their songs. So just because it's a 6-hour wedding doesn't mean I'm only working for 6 hours. There is a lot of preparation that goes into it. So it could even end up being a 9 or even 10-hour workday with 3 or 2 hours of preparation and the rest on performance. With clubs are different. There isn't necessarily any preparation that needs to be done per se, but you always want to be up to date with new music and you want to innovate your sets with either live mashups or transitions. So there is a lot of artistical preparation in your end. All right, and that's the end of my video. If you guys haven't seen the first half, don't forget to go ahead and click the link that you guys can see the first half of my October gigs. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that stuff. It helps me out. I really want to grow this channel and hopefully do more gig logs like this. I hope you guys liked my video. I will see you guys next month for my monthly vlog, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. Gajvik out.